Today we're going to be talking about why helping your DPS as a support is of the most crucial importance, and it's the number one thing that you need to be prioritizing if you want to win more games. Like no other support player does this. Like all three of the other support players in your lobbies are going to be complete and utter imbeciles, and you're probably an idiot at the moment as well because you're not helping your DPS at the moment. If you actually start doing this, then the results you're going to see are going to be insane because no one else is doing this. So there's just such a big opportunity to actually help your DPS take space. Your DPS are going to love you. Other support might hate you. Your tank might hate you a bit, but the DPS are going to love you is the main point. And this is actually going to make you win way more games. And if you implement this today, then you will literally begin seeing results immediately. Like, it's not something that's gonna particularly take a while to sort of see that level of improvement. You're just gonna be able to implement it immediately with the stuff that I tell you today. You're gonna get a really good understanding of angles, what angles to control, what heroes make sense in those angles, although that's sort of a trick question. But you're gonna understand why helping your support DPS on support is gonna be so crucial. So I actually recorded this once before, but unfortunately the video file was like corrupt. It didn't let me actually record it, so I had to do another rendition of this video, and I've got some diagrams that I drew. You probably couldn't tell, but this is meant to be Mercy. This is meant to be, I'm not actually too sure. This is Ryan. This is, let's say this is Ash. You have three people on here. So let's say this is Ash. Let's say this is Ryan. And let's see, this is Juno. You're playing Wu Yang. And instead of playing over here with the rest of your teammates, it's better to help your teammate that's over here on, let's say, Junkrat. It doesn't really matter what hero they're on, as long as you can give them support. And this is so fundamental because no support players do this. They always, like 9 out of 10 supports would just stay with their other support. They would stay with the rest of their team. It's really good to separate from the rest of your team actually, as long as you're actively supporting someone. Even then it's okay to go by yourself as long as you're actually doing something. And the point about Junkrat is don't be picky about who you help and whether your hero is short or long ranged and whether their hero is short or long ranged. So Junkrat really likes short range off angles, right? That's sort of an area which he really operates well in. But even if he was on, let's say there was let's come up with a hypothetical scenario. Let's say there was an Ash who was taking an off angle on your team. It would still make sense to actually support that Ash on an off angle and go to help them, regardless of whether your hero is short or long range. So even on Ana, sometimes it's not optimal to be helping a Junkrat who really likes those enclosed spaces, those compressed spaces. But you need to sort of fill that gap and be the one who actually helps your support take the space needed in order to win the game. So, do I have any other points before we get in? We generally don't want to be stacked with our other support because we want to create a bit of a crossfire. So we sort of want to spread our resources across the map so we're not compressed and we're not necessarily fighting in only one singular location. I think that's something of the utmost importance, and it's something that we really need to be focusing on, is that we don't necessarily need to be angling deep away from our other support, but there needs to be some sort of off angle created and we're not directly stacking on top of them, at least when the fight begins. As the fight develops, I think it's a bit more acceptable, especially if you're like being dove, but yeah, we're gonna have a look at some gameplay examples now. Okay, let's have a look right now. Who do you think Carlo should be helping based on where her teammates are? Well, their teammates, I actually don't know what Carlo's gender is, if they're a boy or girl or they, because they don't use a mic, but that's completely okay. So I'll just keep to referring them as a they. I mean, I don't know what Darth Zion is doing over here. In an ideal world, he should be here, right? This is a short range off angle. This makes a lot of sense for Lucio, but the reality is, Darth Zion is not going to take this space. Carlo needs to be the one taking responsibility. And this isn't even bad because the Lucio's back here. They're here. So this is a bit of an off angle. But as the fight develops, we'll see why this doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're supporting our Bastion right now. Who should our attention be on right now? Well, the Bastion, because they just use turret form. Bastion works in the cyclical, sort of like a cyclical tempo character, where he's incredibly strong in turret 4. So Bastion is used 4. We know he's pushing in because he decided to move forward. Why is our attention over here? What can we do in this specific situation? And it's not like Carlo didn't know that the Bastion was here. They just decided to ignore the Bastion completely. So what we need to do is to drop everything, forget about these guys, help and actually help our DPS who is taking aggressive space. So what I would have done is drop down, speed winged, heal, 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 and maybe even look for the ultimate. I mean, it is a baby diva, so it's not the biggest deal. We're probably going to win this fight, but it's more so the principle that I'm worried about because Carlo is incredibly delayed. It's just too much delay coming from Bastion. And the diva wouldn't have been able to remech if the Bastion had speed ring. And this fight gets a bit dirty. And Lucio actually dies because we didn't kill the diva long enough and this fight goes on way too long. So Bastion should have had speed ring, been able to kill the diva way quicker, and we just disengage out and our Lucio doesn't die to their Hanzo. This is such a critical moment because we need to help our DPS. We were just hanging out around here doing absolutely nothing, but if we drop down, actually put our attention on this, then we would have been fine. That's why I think the most important concept in all of Overwatch is angle, 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 supporting our DPS, at least on support. It's not damage, damage, damage. Most supports are completely fine with their damage to healing ratio. It's just objectively wrong when people say damage, damage, damage is the most important thing. It's angle, angle, angle that is the most important thing because then we can actually worry about our quantity of damage and healing. But even then, like, it was completely fine. It's just we were way too late to the angle to begin with. So let's have a look at another example. Okay, here's another situation from a different Juno VOD. So we got Evod here, who's a Diamond Switch player. Being Diamond on Switch is pretty crazy, by the way, because you're against console players who are on controller. Switch, where the screen is quite small. Although you can play on TV on Switch, I believe, but that's beside the point. Where do you think our Juno that we're coaching right now should be? I think this is terrible, but if I see my Emre actively taking space over here, I'm rushing over here. I'm double jumping over here, glide boosting here, helping our Reaper take the space. Now, our Life Weaver is over here, and I believe our Life Weaver actually does take space later on in the fight. Let's see if he takes space. I mean, there's so much downtime where these guys are getting no help whatsoever. If we were here, we could have held this space for such a long period of time, simply by just going here. Yeah, it's a bit of an investment. Yeah, it's a bit scary. I mean, our Zarya's not going to die. Our Life Weaver's not going to die unless they're stupid. I mean, I don't know why our Life Weaver's here. This is a bit dumb by him. He should be closer to cover, but it's fine. Right, we just need to take the time, rotate up here, because it's an extra 5 seconds, which is going to lead us to an insane position, which is going to force us to win the fight. If we're here right at the start, then this is just such a bloody free win, I think. We need to double jump, speed ring, get here, heal, 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 and then even think about getting a bit silly with our ultimate because we have Orbital Ray. If we notice, you can get really silly with the ult and like pop it here, shoot these guys over here. It sort of depends if our Zarya decides to push in and we need to synchronize the pressure with the rest of our team. But it's something to think about. And our Life Weaver does eventually take space. He goes up on the platform there. So this is good now. This is exactly what I want to see. But we didn't do anything to actually help contribute towards this split. We just stood here AFK, not caring where our other support is, not caring about helping our teammates. This is the exact opposite of what we really want to be doing. So this is fine now, but in hindsight, our Life Weaver could have been here, and our Juno could have been up here way earlier. And you might be asking, why not let our Life Weaver take the space? Well, our other support is going to be a bit stupid, remember? We can't rely on our other support to actually take space. It's always going to be our responsibility. It's always going to fall on us. Because if you take space here, then you're the only support who's actually doing something aggressive. You're the only support doing something good. and you're going to be massively rewarded for doing that. So this fight would have unfolded a lot over here with the ultimate. Yeah, it's just something I wanted to think about. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This video is probably gonna have like 0 views, but if you did watch the video, I hope you enjoyed and have a good day.